Across the 3D Zelda games, having a horse companion is a staple. But in the older games, horses seem to be reserved for only those of the royal family and those of high status. In Ocarina of Time, the only people we see with horses is Ganondorf when he's chasing young Zelda and her bodyguard Impa, who are riding away on a royal family horse. Link is also very obviously the only other person with a horse outside of Lon Lon Ranch. This famous steed being Epona, who Link gains trust with after playing a song he is taught as a child. At the end of Ocarina of Time, Link is teleported back to his childhood after defeating Ganon. He then warns the young Zelda, who then warns her father of what is to come, and Ganondorf's reign is avoided. Sometime after these events, Link takes Epona with him on a personal quest when the Skull Kid kidnaps Epona and triggers the events of Majora's Mask. In the Minish Cap, Epona is owned by Milan and is just used to pull around a wagon of milk that is sold by the rancher. We see Epona return once more in Twilight Princess. In this title, Link works on a ranch and he has ownership of Epona very early on. Up to this point, the only people of Hyrule that appear to have horses is the royal family, Ganondorf, and various ranchers, and of course our hero Link. These older Hyrules were much smaller geographically with smaller populations, so horses may not have been a necessity. These animals may have also been a rare commodity. If this is the case, I'm sure the royal family would have exclusive rights to this important resource. I believe this to be true because in Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf went out of his way to put his own minion in the ownership of Lon Lon Ranch. Horses would remain rare until we visit Breath of the Wild's Hyrule. This new Hyrule is much larger than the previous kingdoms. The royal family seems to have expanded their land during a long period of peacetime. Because of this expansion, the castle seems to be much larger with a bigger army than ever before. The civilian population also seems to be at an all-time high. This will lead to more workers and a high abundance of resources. One of these resources, of course, being horses. These horses would be used for the royal family military as well as a way to transport goods. Because of the abundance of horses, there would be more work that could be completed and faster modes of travel that would be available to more people. There is a ranch in central Hyrule that was located next to Mabe Village. Many of the royal family horses were most likely to be trained and raised here. Culturally, horses helped a great deal in Hyrule's prosperity. Once Ganon was awakened and the evil was let free, much of Hyrule was destroyed along with its population and resources. One such resource still flourished but became a difficult one to obtain. Many of the horses were surely killed during the calamity, but those who survived fled to the wilderness. These horses would adapt to the wild and continue to breed. By the time Link awakens 100 years later, there have been several generations of horses, causing them to be mostly wild animals that need to be tamed again. Those who know how to mount the horses seemingly have an easy time gaining their trust. This could be from hundreds of years being bred and raised by Hylians. There seems to be a strong horse culture even after the calamity. Across Hyrule, stables can be found where tamed horses can be registered and geared up with a saddle. Despite the dangers of the wild, there are many travelers looking to buy and sell goods, or even just looking for a good adventure. These travelers often rest at these stables as they are a safe haven. There's much to appreciate at these welcoming rest stops. The giant tent is not only a place to care for your horse, but there's also beds inside for travelers in need of some sleep. Outside is kitted with a campfire and a cooking pot, some benches to rest, and even a friendly dog or two to keep a lonely traveler some company. The stables are also a great way to learn about your surroundings, as well as hear some great stories from other travelers. At the East Akala stable, there is a woman who gives Link the directions and information about the Spring of Power. She and others can give you an idea of where to explore if you're not sure where to go next. These travelers are quite helpful since the stables tend to be set up in new region areas that Link may come across first. Many quests can also be acquired from travelers at various stables such as the Serene stable. There are 3 scientists standing outside of the tent sharing theories about what they believe happened to the great Leviathans. They then ask Link if he can investigate the remains of the giant beasts. There is even a shrine quest given to Link at the Foothill stable. This of course being important since the shrines themselves are what is preparing Link, our hero, to fight the calamity. In this Hyrule, many people are simply friendly and willing to help out a fellow traveler in this dangerous world full of monsters and Ganon's evil. All of these different characters share their stories, recipes, and tips at these beautiful horse stable hubs. The stables themselves have a very knowledgeable staff and uphold a certain standard. They will take care of your horse, equip you with your first saddle, and give you tips on how to care for your horse. They even keep someone on duty to give directions at all times to travelers. Hyrule's horse culture doesn't seem to just stop at some passionate people who run and visit stables for some rest. There seems to be a spiritual component to the culture as well. Across Hyrule, there are several great fairy fountains. These fountains house the great fairies of various power. These fairies would bless any traveler who would give them an offering of rupees. Rupees are the currency of Hyrule, but they also hold a magical power within, which the great fairies harness to keep their strength. The main great fairies bless Link with increased strength of his armor, but there is another great fairy that you can unleash. Melania, the self-proclaimed god that protects the horses of Hyrule. After Link gives an offering of 1,000 rupees, the horse god will offer its power of bringing Link's horse back from the dead. The stable tents at first glance look like a horse, so travelers know what is up ahead. However, on closer inspection, the tents seem to resemble Melania. Were these tents crafted in the honor of this great being that could bring their beloved horses back to life? I think it is possible, as Hyrule is known to honor deities with statues and other types of memorials. Melania has a bit of a dark side as well. The horse god will tell Link that she will destroy him or even kill him if he does anything to harm his horse. Then she just says she's joking. But is this strange creature truly joking? I do believe the stable workers truly care about the horses, and that is why they work so hard to keep them taken care of. However, part of me thinks there may be some fear connected to this line of work. Do they fear the wrath of Melania if horses are to be harmed? Melania has a strange connection to death, so surely there is some reason to fear her. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this look into a small part of Hyrule's culture, a like is super appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Until next time, I hope you have a great one, and keep gaming.